Okay, so let us start with the next session of pre-order traversal. And if you are new to this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. Okay, so let us continue with the pre-order traversal. And how this is done is that we have a tree given and we have to traverse it, right? So the traversal conditions or the rules will be that you have to first print the root.data, then you have to traverse. You have to recursion. You have to call the recursion for the left subtree, and then you have to call the recur for the right subtree, right? So we have already discussed the in-order traversal for the same tree, and I hope you are very clear to that part. And for the pre-order traversal, the values would be that first you have to print the root, then you have to go left and then right, right? So we are this starting point, so we'll first print this data root, that is the root 10, and then we'll move to the left. But then again, the first point of the execution was to print the data, so we print 20 and then we move to left. Then again we print 40 and then we move to left, but we hit the null, so we'll traverse back, right? So now the call comes to 40 and then it will move in the right hand side direction, but again it's null, so it will goes back to 40, and then finally the parent call will be returned to 20 here, right? So the left part of 40 has been done, and now will be covering the right part of this 20. So in the right, when we move right, so it is 50, right? So we'll first print 50 and then we'll move again left. So for the 70, we'll first print 70 and then we'll move again left till the null. And when we'll hit the null, we will again recur back. Then after 70, since we have covered all the left shell, so we'll move to the right shell, that is null. And then we'll again return from here. Now 70 would return to its parent call, that is 50, and the right subtree of the 50 is completed, so we'll move again to 80. So now the 80 is printed, right? And then we'll call for the left child, that is null, and it is returned from here. Similarly, it calls for the right child, that is null, and it again returned from here, right? So now the parent call has been returned to 10, right? All the left tree has been processed. Now the call returned to its root node, and then it goes to right. And in right, the first step was to print. The first step is to print. So we print 30 and then recur for the left child, that is null, and then we return back to 30. Then from 30, we again move to its right hand child, and it's 60. So the first part was to print it. So we print 60 and again move to its left child, that is null, and we return to again its parent called, that is 60. We move to the right child, that is null, right? And again we returned here. So now the traversal has been done for each and every node in the tree, and this would be your pre-order traversal, right? So let me show you how how the code is running in the recursive way. So this is the recursion tree diagram that I've drawn for you guys to take the reference. So first we call f of 10. The first step was to print 10, right? Print the data and then call for left shell, that is 20. So the first step was to again print it, right? So let me mark it as well whenever we are calling the printing statements, right? Okay, so this would be the first print, and then f of 20, the first step is to print it and then move in the left recur for the left part as well, right? So it will recur for 40, then we'll print it and then recur for the left part, that is null. We'll return from there, and then we'll recur for the right part, it's again null, then we'll recur from there, right? So now the call has been again comes back to its parent node of 40, that is 20, and 20 has covered its left hand child, so we called for 50, right? First step is to print it, so we have print 50, then move to the left hand child, that is 70, right? So this is the fourth, this is the fifth, right? Similarly happens in the same case that we done. Now the control comes back when we have accessed or traversed all the left subtree for this root element 10, then we cover the right hand side, right? So it will call for 30, and since the first step is to print statement, right? So what will happen here? So we have covered the 5 points. So it would be this would be 6. This is the sixth print statement. Then we call the left hand side of 30 is null, so it calls for null and get returned. That calls for the right hand child, that is 60. The first execution part was to print it, so it prints 60 there, and then call for its left child, that is function of null, and then since we have hit the base condition, if it is null, we return it, right? So we returned here from here, and then it calls for the right hand child, that is again null, and you return from here, and from 10 we have returned now. So we have done the traversal, and again the space complexity would be bought, but O but number of nodes and the not time complexity, and the space complexity will be nothing but O of height of tree, right? We have already discussed on this. The maximum nodes that will be stored in the recursive stack will be the height of the tree, right? I will explain to you this in a very deep manner in the in order traversal. So let us move ahead with the coding section now. So that's the SD sheet. You can refer for the navigation. I will mention in the description as well. So that's the GFG question you have given for the pre-order traversal, and that's the code here. We have mentioned the same code for the pre-order traversal with the helper function name as order. And first we are printing the data, then we are recording for the left subtree and the right subtree. So you can wondering that why you have mentioned we have make another function, because the return type was array list, right? So that is why we have made a function with the two parameters, the array list and then a node root. Similarly, you can do this Leetcode question as well. It's an easy categorization name as 144. I'll mention the all the links for the GFG and Leetcode, and primarily for this sheet we will always be solving the question on GFG and Leetcode, and that's it. Okay, and that's the same code here. The same question has been asked on Leetcode as well. You can hit the submit button to uh, see your successfully submitted solution. So that is it for today's video. Or let me hit the submit button for you guys. So we'll just verify and we'll move forward. So you can see all the test cases have been passed successfully. Let us meet in the next lecture of covering the post-order traversal. Till then, bye bye. Keep going, keep learning, and take care.